highs before? Where were the important levels? And are we seeing volume come back in? And you can see we've had a nice run up already from 6 million to 28, 30 million. Already 4x, 5x people are hitting on that. But you're not going to time it perfectly. But again, like I said
Yes.
before, you're not trying to time it. You're just buying at dips. You're buying opportune moments. And if these cat coins, PopCat and all of the others, they keep running, some of these smaller ones, because I think the sweet spot's probably 1 million to 10 million or something like that, where you can really make big multiples.
Yes.
What's stopping these running to 100 million? Yeah, that's not
Nothing.
a big deal. People talk about whiff and they're like, oh, it might go to 100 billion and stuff. That's quite, it's possible, but it's outlandish thinking. But you don't need that multiple on whiff. You can trade the smaller secondary coins and make those multiples or even more. And it's realistic. Like, it's
Yes.
realistic. This can go back to its previous all-time highs. It's not crazy. 180 million is not crazy.
Yes.
Where are we now? 28. What if it dips to 20? From 20 to 200, that's a 10x.
Yes.
It's
And
just
for
a
a lot of
10x.
like the space now is kind of changing because if you've got a portfolio of, you know, $500,000 or $1.5 million, you've got a decent amount of money. When you're comparing your altcoin bags to larger cap meme coins like this, you actually have a significant amount of upside there with actually quite decent liquidity now for some of these bigger coins that have had a pullback. So even for me, I'm comparing, things like Nubcat, even things like Popcat, even Popcats are like the billions, right? I'm comparing these to a lot of my, dying altcoin bags, for example. I'm thinking, okay, do I really need this big bag of AVAX, for example?
Yep.
When I could split that between three mid caps on Solana and potentially make a 10x, 50x, or 100x from these levels right now, which is very, very interesting concept.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the big shift, mind shift this year. You've hit the nail on the head there. It's the focusing too much on altcoins, thinking this is 2021. It's
Yes.
not. It's completely different now. So for me, on my channel, I discussed like there's literally a handful of altcoins that I'm even touching at the moment. Things like FET, SUI, Tau, stuff like that. So only a few. Rest are complete rubbish. Like I'm not going anywhere near them because they're dead. They're not going to do any kind of multiples. And you've already seen that. If from October till January they haven't done much, why are they suddenly going to erupt now? The only one scenario where this could change, the only one, is if meme coin volume suddenly next month or a month after dies so much that everybody is all in on altcoins for a period of a couple of months, then I might shift my focus to altcoins more. But at the moment, it doesn't make sense because the data is telling us don't make sense. Like
Yeah, even
meme coin
leverage.
volume is massive.
Even leverage. People ain't really trading leverage anymore. Like I don't really see many people leverage trading. Like why the fuck would you leverage trade and get death by a thousand cuts of getting stop loss by market makers, where you can just go on all in on Solana and you either get rugged or you make money.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what the return on investment they have to think about. Like if you want to make a 5x, even a 2x, you have to be prepared to take a 20% risk or 30% risk. That's normal. Like the return is so high, you should be prepared to take a little bit more risk. Do that calculation in your head so it makes sense. But if you're trading something like, I don't know, Sandbox or some crappy altcoin like that, where a best case scenario is to make 20%, yeah, then your risk can be lower, but your risk should be only 1% then because your return's not going to be good. But if you're thinking this could do a 10x, you should be prepared for a 50% drawdown because you're
Yes.
asking for a lot from the market.
Yes, yes. So many people don't see that, right? They come in the market. Oh my gosh, I want to make a 10x, I want to make a 20x, I want to make a 50x. But you're not willing to risk 50%, or you're not willing to risk getting wrecked a few times. It doesn't make sense. You're asking for so much without even wanting to risk anything. And you see it a
Yeah.
lot. Like people come in the chat, they start letting out all their emotions get to them. They'll be in the YouTube comments. Oh my God, what about this coin that you mentioned last week or this week? Like, you don't realize that whenever it comes to making an investment, there's risk on the table. And most of the time, actually, you actually do have to work for your bags. Like if we study some of the biggest upper echelon of investors out there, you think they're just buying Apple stock and they're just leaving out, oh, I've got my Apple stock. I've just put, $5 billion into Apple stock. I'm just going to leave it for my fund. No, right? They're going in there, they're advising, right? They're adding, they're,
Yep.
they're doing marketing. For example, they're building connections. They're flying around the world building relationships. Luckily enough, we don't have to do that. with 10 Solana investments. All you have to do is join the Telegram chat, show your bag a few times, and just be active on social media.
Yep. Yeah. And like you said, like let the big influencers, let them carry your trade up. Let them shill it. So
Exactly,
you get a good position, good entry, let them do all the hard work. Yeah, exactly right.
exactly. Let me share some of the coins that I'm currently looking at. Can you see my screen, right?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So it's funny because one of the things that you was mentioning um, a minute ago. Wait, first of all, did this coin just get wrecked? Yeah, it did. That's crazy. This coin was going crazy earlier. So it's got down 88%. But this is the one that I'm looking at. This one is called DogInMe. Now it's giving me that similar vibe where you mentioned about structure and recovery. And this is the
Hmm.
Coinbase coin. So this token is supported
Coinbase.
by a lot of the Coinbase team. When you
Right.
look at base chain, all the biggest coins at the moment are very Kabbalish. Now, Kabbalish is great. However, when it comes to getting relationships with actually the core team of Coinbase, they're going to resist that a
Hmm.
lot. So if I look at base chain coming back, not even just as a chain, but as people just buying them on CEXs, for example, and like you said, right, or like we just both said, which is transitioning your altcoin bags over to more degen-ish meme coins, for example, maybe on Mexi or even on Coinbase, for example. You're going to want to look for those coins that can capture that. This is a coin which isn't Kabbalish, it's actually more community focused. And also it's on base chain, but you can buy it on most CEXs. It's got 2 mil liquidity, 23 mil FDV. And you can see we've gone through that similar cycle on a smaller scale because it's only been around since March. We had that big drawdown, accumulation, and now recently we've only just broken back. And we did have a fairly strong retest as well of the last high. So I do think that, again, like you said, all-time high for these types of things, especially with how volatile it is, isn't actually a bad bet.
Mhm. Yeah, completely right. And if you look at the chart, you can see clearly it's breaking out with volume as well, which is important because volume needs to sustain that move as we go up. But you know what? Even with this one, like if you're buying these, you get a good you catch a good dip and you buy it, right? So let's say you buy it, you catch a good dip. If it ran and then failed a little bit along the way, like 60, 70 million, that's still 2x, 3x. Like it's still massive returns that you could never do traditionally in stock market. And even if it's hard to do in crypto as well. So potentially, if we get a run with base coins, I think you'll see a lot of the older ones that were better, have better communities, better narratives. They could get